Yo, it's your boy E,
It's your boy Cam.
and you're tuned into
Well Society.
Trendsetter, band frame getter. With whatever. I buy diamonds when I'm under pressure. Pull up smooth. Hey, out with the cross. Counting up wins on wins on wins for all of my dogs I lost.
Welcome back, guys. This is episode
11.
Yeah, episode 11. We have a special guest today, Angel. Tell him a little bit about yourself.
All right. My name's Angel, and about myself, I have my own plumbing company or business going on. I grew up in plumbing. My dad was a plumber. He came here when he was 17, 16, and illegally, and he built like a whole life here, American dream, and everything.
Yeah.
And he was doing plumbing as like for a company, as a subcontractor, and since he didn't want to pay for daycare, he took me with him all the time since I was little. So that's
Get
how,
your ass to work.
yeah, basically, and that's how it all started. Like me learning about plumbing, and later on, years passed. I kept doing that over the summer, and if I like whenever I got to high school, it's like I went to like 3 different high schools, out of state, out of town too, and like it got to a point where I got like all my credits by sophomore year, so I could graduate early. But I didn't want to because I was like, I'll be doing the same thing I'm doing right now, like just working.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't want to go to college yet, and also because like girls in relationships too.
Yeah.
So I was like, let me just stay for a little bit.
Wait, who told you to get your credits like early? Like, who told you to do all that?
Nobody. I was just
Oh,
like,
you just did it?
I saw that because so the first year of high school, I went to a private school out in Michigan, and their like curriculums and everything was different. So like, and they had actually I think lower credits to graduate, and so whenever I went up there, like they were like, oh yeah, you can get your like extra credits by credit by exam and everything. So I was like, all right, cool, like I'll do that. And I took like 3 different tests to get like 3 extra credits just by exam, and and then I came back to here in Tate Springs my sophomore year,
Hey,
and
that's where I went.
oh yeah, like I was there with playing or doing wrestling.
How'd that go? How'd you fall into that?
I don't know. I think one of my older cousins did it, and then like my older sister did it, and they're like, "You should try it. It's cool." I was like, "Looks kind of gay, but I'm gonna try it out."
You were a sophomore or junior?
Sophomore when I started. I started it and I liked it. Fell in love with it. It is kind of weird because you're like all over like the guys and everything.
Oh, isn't it like skin tight suit?
Yeah, basically like the suits is like
I seen 'em.
like a one piece like skin tight stuff. and
Literally a
it's-
onesie.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And that was the only like weird part about it for me. But aside from that, like, dude, it was rough. Like,
Yeah.
I'd get up at 3 a.m, work out an hour before practice, go to practice at 4 a.m, and
Fuck
then
that.
I was doing like extra work just because like I wanted to like be really good. And the coach was I don't know if you ever met Coach Evans.
Sounds super familiar,
He-
but I'd have to see his face and not know.
He's like this white dude, white hair, older dude. He's built, and I think he might have. I think he was in the Marines before, but he had like discipline, do a hardcore. Like he would make us run like 3, 4, or 5 miles a day. every
Hey,
morning.
no way.
Messing with
And
that.
like conditioning was like his thing. Like he wanted us to be like super fit. He didn't want us to be built. Like he just wanted us to be like have stamina.
Endurance.
Yeah, and I remember like I think the best part about that was whenever the football players were off season, they would come over to train with us.
Hey.
And a lot of them wouldn't last, dude. A
Yeah,
lot of them wouldn't last.
bully them or what?
No, they would try to bully us, and it was fun because like they would always try to like spar with us, like kind of wrestle in practice.
They would lose.
Yeah, they would lose, or sometimes like you'd get like these huge guys that would wrestle with like little guys. And like with wrestling, the thing is like it's either you're really really strong or you're really really skilled. So like you can take down a huge guy like if you have a lot of skill. The wrestling like that does 2 things, like either you're really strong, you have a lot of skill. But it was pretty cool because the coach, aside from him being like just a coach, he was like a mentor to everybody. Like he would
That's
like,
good. Yeah.
tell us about how like wrestling was always like you can apply to life and everything. Like once you wrestle, like that was his quote from this like famous wrestler like Dan Gable. He's like, once you've wrestled, like everything in life is easier.
Oh,
And I didn't understand it until you actually get into real life.
And then you know how it applies.
Yeah, I was like, dang, that's crazy. Like
That's-
it clicks like years
yeah.
after. And but I did wrestling in high school for a year and a half. My junior, like second semester, I moved out back to Michigan. I didn't move, like my parents didn't move my family.
Yeah.
I just decided I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go out there. 'Cause it was more like a church, like a Christian school. So I was like, you know what, like I need to get straight again. Because I was doing a lot of bad stuff here in like public school.
I gotta get straight again.
Yeah, so I was like, because over there, it's discipline was a big thing. There was a lot of things that like they had rules and like dress code. You had to be hair like fresh cut, clean shaven every single day.
Is it like what 1 inch on top?
No, it wasn't that extreme like military school. It was like, your hair like for a guy, you could not have your hair over your ears. So you had to be like basically like a fade or like a short hair on the sides. No long hair for guys either, and solid color polos, blue jeans, no skinny jeans or ripped jeans. Like you had to dress like a prep boy, you know, like. And there was like you had to clean your rooms because we lived in dorms, and they would do room checks. You had to have a curfew. You have phone turn. They wouldn't give you your phone all day. You'd have to get it like at a certain time after school.
You're a junior?
Junior, yeah.
Damn.
That helped you
Was
build like discipline, right?
Yeah, but the thing like for me, like I've always like I don't know, I've always wanted to do like the hard, uncomfortable stuff, you know, like, and it was something like because I
Where'd you get that from though?
I don't know, dude. Like it's always something like whenever you're aware of your like flaws or like the things you know that are like holding you back or like making you lazy or something. Like I think like everybody wants to change them. It's just like it's hard because you gotta get over the feeling of being comfortable. And I was telling Arturo the story about whenever I was in high school. I think towards my last year, and whenever I started college, I was always the type to like have a hard time to wake up, dude. Like my alarm would go. I would have like 10 alarms, like snooze every single time. And like my mom would come in, like, I'm gonna whoop your butt. And this was like I was like already old, dude. I was like over age and everything, and they were like, I'm gonna whoop your butt if you can get up. Like she pushed me to go to college, and I was like, fine. And I would always be running late and everything, and it got to a point where like I acknowledged the like issue I had, like one of the issues I had, and then like to solve it, like it came down to like me doing something about it. So like whenever it comes to like something little like that, it's hard to, you can't do much. There like the options are limited. So either you just get up and go at it, or you like make your sleeping situation a lot more uncomfortable.
So in high school is when you really kind of figure it out, like I gotta get uncomfortable, I gotta do things I don't want to do.
Yeah.
You're 18, 17 at this point?
Yeah.
Okay, and then what did you start doing? Because you told me yesterday about the tamales. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So
how'd you get into that entrepreneurship like spirit? Like how'd you do that?
Okay, so that goes like I think my dad had a huge role in playing. Like I think both of my parents, because both of my parents like them not having like documents to live here. Now they do, but like before, like they couldn't get any job, so they couldn't go work at McDonald's or stuff like that. So
you saw that, huh?
They were, and I did. So I saw that, and I kind of like. But at the same time, we never really struggled financially because they were hardworking. They would always make money. But I would see how they would still find ways to make it work. You know, they would. My mom, she's a great cook, and she would sell food with her grandma. They would pack up a little Camry, like 95 Camry, and go on construction sites and sell like food. And I always saw that growing up. So I was like especially getting in high school. Like, I always saw girls out. I was like, dude, you could be making money right now. Just go learn how to cook, go to construction sites.
You tell girls that.
Yeah, even my girlfriend's too, and they're like, no, like I don't want to cook and do all that. I was like, man, whatever. And
was that part of the game?
Yeah, that's part of the game too. Like, because like I was, every time I had a girlfriend,
let's go make money together.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get them to do, but they were always like, no, we just want to have fun and like enjoy like high school and everything. Because
facts.
Yeah, like for them, it was always. Especially too, like, cause I talk like those college recruiters in high school.
Oh yeah,
like
they get you, huh?
They're good too.
Yeah, I would talk to them because I was like trying to get like, whenever I was in Side Springs was whenever I was wanting to like get out. I was like, like I'm done with this, like I'm over it. But I would talk to college recruiters to like apply for college and everything and try to graduate early, and they're like, why? Like enjoy your 4 years here. I was like, no. She was like, you're gonna go into college. You're gonna be the youngest one there, and like you're not gonna be able to drink or do any of the stuff that.
They were saying that to you?
Yeah, like they're like, yeah, they're gonna be like 21 or older, and like you're not gonna be able to do the fun stuff like with them. I was like,
who's gonna stop me?
Yeah, like I was like, I don't care. Like I just like answer my questions, lady. Like, and she wasn't answering nothing. I was like, crap, whatever.
Talk about a role model, huh?
So
crazy.
Whenever for the tamales, like so seeing like my parents, like my mom especially. Selling food, cooking and selling it, like I always like it was never an option because I was like that's more of like a girl thing, like it's a very like sexist thing. But there's guys out there making money with taco trucks and everything. And so
you started.
I started at Sonic working for $7.25. My sister got me that job,
Trip.
And
Yeah, I felt.
yeah, and I was there. I was like, I don't know, 725. Like, I know like I never fought, and I was never like, oh, like I'm worth more and this and that.
Yeah.
Like I never saw it like that because I always have the mentality of like what you do is what you get. You
Yeah.
know, like what you work for is how you get paid.
Yeah.
And like whenever I was Sonic, I was busting my butt. Like I was the
Yeah.
hardest one working there. I was like, dude, like I'm paying less and getting paid less than everyone. You know, and it wasn't jealousy, but it was like if I leave, they're gonna have a lot more work and they're gonna complain about it. So like,
Yeah.
I'm kind of valuable, you know. So they were like, oh yeah, we'll give you a raise in like 2 weeks once you learn everything. I was like, okay, cool. And I stayed 2 weeks, learned everything, busted my butt. They're like, yeah, we're gonna give you a raise. You know, you've been doing really good. And when they told me how much, they're like, yeah, it's gonna be 25 cents. I was like, crap. I was like, y'all
Ain't
can
no
keep
way.
that. I was like,
You keep
Yeah,
that.
keep it.
I'm out. And then that's when I was like, crap, I need to figure something out. Because I didn't have to work. I didn't have
Yeah.
bills or anything. But like I was like, I have to do something to make some money. Like, because I was like, there has to be a better way to like make more money. Like,
I felt that, bro.
yeah. And because I feel like, well, for me, like as a guy, like the closer you get to graduating high school and going into real life, like for guys, I think it's like, it's rougher for us because we have to actually work for it.
You have to create something
like,
from nothing. huh?
Yeah, and it's like it's easier whenever you're not planning on a family or kids or anything like that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, shoot, like you're fine by yourself, you know, like normally.
It is.
But whenever
It's
you have a
easier,
kid and
yeah.
wife, you have to worry about them. You know, you gotta do like you'll like take a lot of crap from a lot of people just because to get by. You know.
You have a wife and 3 kids, right?
Yeah, wife
And you
3
have to be
kids.
uncomfortable.
Yeah, so, so leaving Sonic, and I thought about the ways I could do it. My mom was like, "Well, you could sell tamales." I was like, I thought about it. I was like, "That's true." And like, cause I looked at the numbers and everything, and I was like, "All right, you make it outside," and she's like, "No." Like, I'll take you and you'll sell, cause she don't want to. Like, it's a hassle,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
doing
yeah.
the tamales and everything. And I was like, "Fine." And she taught me how to make them. I started making them, and at first I had a bike. I bought a little like tray for it in the back.
Yeah.
And I bought a cooler. And I made him, and like after school, since I was already had all my credits, I would leave early, like around 11.
Mhm.
And I think I was only in school for like 2 classes: a study hall, which was like nothing, and like English. And afterwards, I would get my bike and drive for like ride it for miles, like just to sell people. And I like the spot where I would get sold out quick was in construction sites, like,
Yeah.
and I
that's
would
true.
go there, and I would have like 5 dozen, and each one was like 10.
I
bucks.
always see him by construction sites.
Yeah.
That's true.
And I would sell them individually, like $1 each. And whenever you have like a buck or two, and I think like whenever I would sell 50, like I would go out there and get me a quick $50.
You're in high school, right? This whole time?
Yeah, I was
What,
in high school.
How much profit did you make on just selling tamales your whole life?
Oh man!
Or like a day.
In one day, I'm not sure. Like cause I would get my money out to like I would get a bunch of cash or coins and I just like throw them in like a bucket or container.
Mhm.
By the end of the week, I was making around 400, maybe 500 on good weeks.
You're in high school too.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, because I was taking I took one time. There's one thing I learned, like a kind of like a sales type of trick was I took a whole bunch of tamales, like different flavors,
Mhm.
to the teacher's lounge, set it there, and didn't say nothing, didn't put nothing if it was like for me or anything like that, and they all ate it, you know, because it was like I guess their breakfast,
Yeah.
Mm.
and everybody was like, because it was a small school too, and they're like, what the heck brought those tamales, and everybody was asking, you know, like, and it got to when my last class in Spanish class. And then my teacher was like, "Oh yeah, like somebody left these really good tamales, and I wonder who it was."
Boy
so I
was
can buy it."
hustling.
Yeah, and I was like, kinda like, "Oh crap!" And like a lot of those people that were there, like the
Yeah.
students, like they knew it was me, and they snitched on me. And they're like, "Oh yeah, it's him. Like he's a tamale dude."
He's a tamale dude.
So I was kind of shy about it. I didn't want to
Yeah.
say like, "Oh yeah, I'm selling them," but like they're like, "Oh yeah," like they just like by themselves started coming and not getting orders. So like I would roll up to school like with a whole bunch of docenas.
I'm
Like,
surprised they didn't confiscate it in most of these schools.
well, no, even the principal, it was ordering.
Like,
tamales.
you lie.
No, for real.
That boy really.
Yeah, like everybody do that. Everybody got it. Like
So they only confiscate when they want to,
exactly when it's not beneficial towards.
right?
Dang. So like, if you really know your market and you know everything
Yeah.
around, like you can sell.
Yeah,
For
it's
real.
about connections, dude. Like having like being cool with people and like, cause unfortunately, like how it is, like if you're really cool with people that have like power, like
Yeah.
dude, they'll open doors for you and do like make ways for you. Like it's just unfortunately that's how it is.
How was it like?
And that applies to like grown up life, like
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
much.
How is it like? Your boss being your dad, and you were the employee. How was it?
And oh, that's rough, dude. Because you know, like Mexican dads, dude, like the the majority of them are very hard. Like they're like tough love, you know.
Yeah.
And but me and my dad have different mentalities. I'm a big risk taker.
Yeah.
And my dad's not. He's like likes to play on the safe side.
Yeah.
So when we would work together, I was like, dude, we could do this big, you know, like because I already had that like mindset of like building, you know, and making things bigger, like in business. And I'll tell him, hey, like let's get another truck, let's get another like excavator, like let's like we can put ourselves out there.
Yeah.
He's like, no, like because the company we're working for is we're subcontracting, so they would get the jobs and they were like give it to us and they'll pay us like they wouldn't take taxes out, so they would just give us a whole check. So we'd get paid for every job, like almost $500 for each job. It would take us 2 hours to do a job, and we'd do like 5-6 a day.
Hey, this reminds
like $250 an hour, basically.
This reminds me of that video. Remember the one I showed you?
Which one?
Hey, you gotta watch it real quick. Hold up.
Or you could play the clip.
I work for my pops. I grew up working with my pops too. That shit is not easy.
Since you guys worked with your dads and stuff, did you guys ever have instances where you guys had an argument at work and it rolled over into the home life?
Fuck yeah.
Oh yeah, there's no balance there.
Petty?
Mexican parents don't have a balance on work and family. I got my ears pierced. I got a call and this will fucking, he was like, if you don't take those shits off, don't come to work. What do you mean, huevos, I didn't go to work?
That's right. We worked in construction. Like you're saying there was no fucking, oh, you're my son. You know, you're my son at home and you're my son at work. It was like at work I was an employee, fool. I was like 12, fool. Like, estás bien pendejo. It's like, what the fuck?
This is my third layoff, dog.
And like that's the thing, you get chewed out at work and then you go home and you're still with this motherfucker.
The ride home is quiet as fuck.
Yeah, you live with the fucking manager, fool. It's bullshit.
You can't call out.
You can't, fool.
Hey, go ahead and clock out for me, dog.
I'm sick. No, you're not.
How you late to work? I'm your ride.
My HR was my mom, fool.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, let me call HR.
We need a union. Just in that bitch.
And it was bullshit because the HR lady was fucking the fucking owner, fool. So like, you never got no balance, you know? You never complain about
You're
shit.
getting discriminated? Who gives a fuck?
All right, so we offer a severance package.
This was hilarious.
Yeah.
But yeah, it reminds me of that because like, how was it? Like you just had to get your ass up and go.
There was a lot of truth in that. Yeah, like growing up, like as a kid, whenever he would take me, yeah. But as I got older, it was a little bit different than that. It wasn't as harsh as that. But, I mean, it was rough.
Yeah.
Because he's the type to he's very like serious.
Yeah.
Like he's not too talkative or social. And like everybody respects him that I know of. Like families, like it's kind of weird sometimes. I'm like, dude, how'd you get all this respect? Like
What did you
you're
do
just
to them?
quiet. Like, yeah, what did you do to them?
Fear or what?
Like
People
yeah,
fear.
like because my dad like everybody was like whenever they talk about my dad, they don't say much, but all good things, and it's crazy, you know. Like I'm like, dude, like what did you do to him? Like you know, like,
What'd you do to him?
Like it sounds like they're scared of him or something like that,
Yeah,
you know.
but they're not.
But it's not. Yeah, it's just respect. Like but
You think it's because he keeps his word?
yeah, that's one big thing that that was rough when we were working together because he would get side jobs and he would tell him a price, and he lacks the knowledge on pricing for plumbing because he's worked for companies so long, and it's really underpaid, but because he does so much work, like it pays really well, kind of.
Yeah.
But whenever it comes to pricing for like side jobs, he lowballs it really bad. And there's been times where I go with him and like we're busting our butt, dude. We're staying there till like past midnight and everything, and I'm mad at him, like, dude, what the heck? Like, why'd you charge so cheap? Like, this is like worth more. He's like, well, it's because like I told him it's gonna be so much, and it's gonna be so much. Like, I'm not gonna upcharge him or anything like that because he sticks
too
to
late.
it. Yeah, it's. I mean, unfortunately, like, yeah, you learn through those situations, and it's something that I always tell people because, like, to me, I've experienced that. Like, I've done jobs that like I'll price it out for like let's say $3K, and then it turns out to be $5K. I have to like pay like $2,000 out of pocket, and like I'll tell my girl like, oh crap, like I lost some money here, and she's like, oh well, you can upcharge her. I'm like, tell him like, hey, you know, like let him know that you know you did a bad pricing. And I was like, no, like that's not.
But that's not how you gain respect.
Yeah, that's not straight. Like you ain't like because you already told him, you know, like you gotta keep your word.
Yeah.
And that's one thing like I learned with my dad, and it's kind of like for me, it's common sense now because like for my girl, she'd be like, yeah, like go charge him, like you know, it's like. Because like for her, like I think like for girls, it's that their mentality is like, oh, we can't, like always trying to look out for themselves, which is understandable because for women, like they always want that security. But like as a guy, like you have to be straight and you got to keep your word. Like always be clear and honest about everything. And for me, that's one thing that's always worked out in my business.
Yeah.
Because sometimes those people will see, like notice.
Would you say like if you lose respect, you lose business, basically?
Yes. Yeah. That's what I was telling Arturo yesterday that. There was a point.
I thought it was my brother. For people who don't.
Yeah, and there was a point where I didn't keep my word, dude, a lot. Even to my girl, my wife. And dude, like you start losing respect from like your clients. You start losing business and like
your wife too. I mean,
yeah. And with my wife, it wasn't so much that she would because my wife, she's really good about respecting me and everything, and then what I do and what I have to do. And whenever she started losing respect, it wasn't like she would like call me, like insult me and stuff like that. But it was more of like whenever I would tell her I would do something, I actually meant it. Yeah. She's like, no, like she didn't believe me, and it sucked, dude. Like I was like, crap.
We're all guilty of that. I did that too with my ex.
Yeah, and it's rough, dude. Like especially like because in business, like if you're young and kind of like reckless, like and you don't keep your word, it's not a big deal because you don't have to see them again. But when you like love somebody and like live with them and like care about them, like and you tell them like they don't trust you no more, it's rough, dude. Like,
it is. When you lost trust, it's like
yeah. And the thing is that it's really to break that trust, but it's really hard to like make up for it. And even when you like do like go through all these hurdles to actually like build it back up, like there's still that little like spot
in your head,
like
back of your
mind. Like love is strong, but like respect is so much stronger. Like your girl can love you but not respect you, and like the relationship is like
what did Kendrick say? He said he'd rather have loyalty than love.
I'd rather have loyalty than love, because love really don't mean jack. See, love is just a feeling. You can love somebody, still stab them in their back. It don't really take much to love. You can love somebody just by being attached. See, loyalty is an action. You can love or hate me and still have my back.
That's
true,
yeah,
huh? Yeah. I tell my girl too that like all these guys that like all these guys came out and said all these things. I would tell my girl, look, I was like, I don't care. Like you don't have to love me or anything like that. Like I just want you to respect me. Like like be loyal to me, just like a dog. And it's as bad as it is, dude. Like
I told him this. I was like Hispanic Tate, meaning Tate.
Yeah, and I told her, I was like, look, like I hate using an example because I'm not referring to you as a dog, but like that's why we love dogs so much.
All we really want is respect and loyalty.
Yeah, because and it's so basic. Like that's why I mean for me, like I love dogs because dude, you could beat the crap out of them like right now, and like 2 seconds later they'll be all over you, kissing you and everything. You know, and like that's why they say dogs are like the most loyal animals ever. And they are, dude. And that's why I tell my girl, I was like, look, I don't care if you don't love me, like. But if you're with me, you gotta respect me. You know, you can't be sleeping around with men. You can't be talking to guys. You can't be. Well, but she knows all that. Like she like whenever guys come up to her, like she'll if it's like work or anything related, like I love you, I'll take care of you, and like do anything you want. Like and I'm like if it comes down to me having to die for you, giving up like something about like my body for you, true. Like I wouldn't think about it twice. Because like that's my responsibility towards you. Like because.
Just to get the facts straight, like you're not on social media right now or none of that.
Oh, yeah, that's one thing. Whenever I was in senior year, I think I did like every social media: Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat.
So he's not really influenced by other people's ideas. This is just from his own perspective.
Yeah. And your own experiences.
Yeah.
So keep talking about what you were saying about your wife.
And about my wife. Yeah. So like, she respects that. She agrees with all that because she's 5 years older than me. So I'm 23. She's 28. Or turned 28 today. Today's her birthday, and
hey,
so
shout out.
Yeah, basically.
Is she on social media?
No. She has Facebook.
Oh, okay.
But
for the fam.
Yeah, just for the fam. But we're trying to do pretty much. A lot of the stuff we're doing is very old school. Even like with my business.
Yeah.
Like I get people telling me, "Oh, put it on social media and this and that." Not that it's a bad idea or that I'm against it, but I'm just trying to balance everything out with like me, like trying to figure it out, like grind out like myself. And like I've been doing for a while, like taxes, my expenses, bookkeeping, like all my stuff, like on paper, old school, writing it down, everything I spend. Like
so you're doing like what you have to do before you even look to do anything else, right?
Yeah. Like even like material invoices, like I would do them in paper, like make them like they sell like these like made out invoices and stuff that like I'll buy and give them out to people, but I would always keep copies of everything. Like at home, if you ever see like my files and everything, everything is organized, and that's not me, that's my wife, because like she'll do it for me.
Hey.
And I just like I sometimes feel bad because I'll bring a whole bunch of receipts and paperwork and just drop it off in my office, and then she'll be like the next day or like at night everything organized.
Dang.
Dang. And that saves a lot of time too. Huh?
Yeah, dude, and like I pay for everything too because it's part of like your taxes, kind of like I wouldn't say like. It's like a loophole, paying your wife and to kind of give her some money too, and for what she does and everything. And
That's crazy, huh?
yeah, and I pay her like, and I let her know, look, what I pay you is a side. You don't have to pay the bills with that. You don't have to like worry about the kids or like that's for you. Like just spend it on you, do whatever you want with you, and like everything else I'll just pay. You know, like because we have one joint bank account where like a portion of my checks go in that bank account, and she'll pay the bills. But we already kind of have figured out
System going.
Yeah, a system where we just got everything. Well, it's not automated because I don't like the automatic payments because there's been times where like let's say we'll take it out on the 31st, but it comes out like a certain day or it doesn't work.
And it kind of messes up.
Yeah, like my truck payment. So we got my truck in payments because I have bad credit. Like I screwed it up a few years back, and we got it in payments so I could kind of build up my credit back up, and I set up the automatic payments. Do the first payment, it don't go through because like automatic payment failed or something. Like I was like, and it was like on my credit. I was like, what the heck? I'm trying to do this to better my credit, and it's just getting worse.
You have like reminders now, like so you can do it by yourself.
Kind of, yeah. We have a calendar at home, huge calendar where we write all the bills and all the events, everything that's going on that we have like pop up. We write it down. So any like vacation time, any celebrations we're gonna do, we write them down along with the bills. So every time we walk in, we walk past by it, we check it. We're like, okay, we got this going on, or we have this thing going on tomorrow. Or she'll like put on the schedule for my jobs too, like on the calendar. Or you have this job with this person tomorrow, and it's a nice system. And with her, like it's like she had to learn a lot because she's been the type to always have this. Well, before her previous marriage. She was her ex was super lazy. He didn't like to work. He was like, all he did was play video games and smoke, and that's it. I wouldn't say like I'm against marriage or anything like that, because a lot of people tell me like when you're young, like oh enjoy your like youth and your 20s.
A lot of people tell me that too, but it's like I mean
I gotta grind,
but at the same time like
yeah, with guys it's a little bit different because over time we can build our like wealth and everything. Like if you have that mentality of making building money and building wealth, like over time like dude you can get really any girl you want. But
it's nicer when you build something with a partner.
Yeah, definitely. Because for me, like
from the ground up.
Yeah, because with my girl, whenever we started dating, like I lied to her about my age. I was like, 24 too, because she was 24 at the time, and I was like, yeah, I'm 24 too. And because we met off of I think Tinder. It was like an online dating website, and I lied to her about my whole life, dude. She never met my family like in a year, dude. Like because I knew my family was toxic too with my relationships. So like, I wouldn't say toxic, but they got involved a lot. So I didn't like that. So I was like, you know what, this one I'm gonna do it different. So she like for a whole year, I never took her to meet my family. Damn. And I met her whole family, got really close with them and everything. It was really cool. And
that's what I gotta do.
but whenever like the few days or weeks that she started meeting my family, like she found everything, like out everything about my age, about like my whole life being a lie and everything.
Was she pissed?
She was pissed, and we were already engaged. So I told her, and I was like really chill about it. I was like, dude, what are you gonna do? Break up the engagement? I was like, and she was like, well, no. I was like, then like, it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. And she was like, but like you lied to me and this and that. I was like, I lied to you about my age and like about what I did and this and that. And she was like, she got over it. Like it was pretty like a little like 2-day rough patch. Like it wasn't a big deal. I didn't make it a big deal.
It was like awkward silence.
Yeah, like so, but it was like it took her a while to process it because this whole time she was thinking I was like 24, 25. And the birthdays like I would always play it off because my family I had to celebrate with my family. So I lied to her about when my birthday was. So I would say, oh, it's on the 20th of February, and then my family I would celebrate like a week later on the 24th or 4 days later. And then like
that's stressful.
I know it was. So I was kind of relieved that she found out, but at the same time like it was kind of like annoying because I didn't like she didn't find out because I wanted her to find out. She found out because my mom kind of like
told her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because she was showing her pictures and she showed her a picture of like my 21st birthday, and for her she was thinking it was my 25th birthday. Oh. And she was like, wait, when was that? And she was like, well, that was like last, because it was a few weeks after my birthday. And she was like, oh, this was recently, like last 2 weeks ago.
Did she like press you?
What do you mean press me?
Like she was like, what is this?
No, she called me. I was at work. She called me. And she was like, cause, so like I already knew like when my mom come home, I was like, crap. Like there's always that risk that like of her finding out. So I was like, crap. So I always like I installed security cameras all over the house, like in every room. Yeah. And I would always like keep an eye out like on them. And like whenever I saw them like spending too much time together, like talking, like, I would just like call them up, be like, hey, like start doing this for me, like get away from like talking to her, because like I was like, man, if they talk too much, they're gonna spill the beans.
I was living a double life.
Basically, and eventually she found out. My mom showed her the picture, and she called me up whenever I was at work, and she's like, "What the heck? Like, dude, your mom just told me you're 21." I was like, "Oh yeah." She's like, "What?" Like, I was like, she's like, "Oh, what do you mean? Oh yeah, we've been so chill about it." I was like, "Cause like what
it don't matter.
It? Like, yeah, it don't matter. We're already engaged. Like, we like you got 2 kids I'm taking care of. Like,
why did she say? So if it doesn't matter, why would you lie?
Fake it so you make it.
Yeah, she was like, yeah. Like whenever I got home, we talked about it more. She was like, "So why'd you lie about it?" I was like, "Just I don't know, cause." Like, cause I did want to like impress her. I was like, cause like for me, I've always liked older women, and like she was like, I don't know. I thought like she wasn't gonna like me or like be interested if I was like young, but she took a long time to process it, like to like realize that I was 21, like younger, like 5 years younger than her.
Oh wow!
Because there'll be times where she's like, "What the heck? You're 21?"
You know that girl at the gym?
Huh?
You know the girl?
Oh yeah.
I lied to her about my age.
Oh yeah.
She was like 24.
What age did you tell her?
I told her I was like 22. I think. It's just
I
was like freaking 20. So it's just 2 years. It's not that bad, right? But then I was just like, nah, never mind. I don't want to lie. So I was just,
yeah. I mean, like I don't know why like I did it, but like I probably I could have still pulled it off, like telling her my age, but
maybe not.
Maybe not. Yeah, that's you
wouldn't be here.
Yeah, exactly. But for me, like I've always been like very different like then, because my generation, like people my age, like they're either still in college, barely getting out of college, and trying to get their lives together. And for me, like I'm already said, dude. I'm trying to just like
figure out a way to enjoy it.
Yeah, that's because right now, like I'm helping your brother out with his apartment out in the back, and just because I have free time, dude. Like I was telling them I did like 3 or 4 jobs like last month, and or a few weeks back, and in less than a month, I think I made like 20 grand or a little bit more, and like it covers my expenses for like a few months, dude. And like I'm just chilling. Like,
and well, if you have that much free time, you should come out with us when we do a little.
I'm trying to
interview.
Yeah, let's go on the business side, cause $20K in a month. I'm I'm tired of working at HEB, bro. I gotta get.
He's a manager at HEB.
Oh, for real? But you make it bank, huh?
No.
He said,
"Hook me up."
He said, "Hook me up."
20K in a month. That's like.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, it's really because right now, like I said, very lightly, but it took a lot to get.
Yeah,
like that's one thing that
23, right?
23, yes. And I technically started like actually working to make money whenever I was like 19, 20, around there. So 3-4 years ago. And but always like so my skill is plumbing. Like I know how to do plumbing. Like I'm a journeyman plumber. I got my license. It took 4 years to get it. There's a lot of like, it's not. I wouldn't say it's too hard. It's just, I mean, like for our age. So like people like for us, we've gone through school, we've gone education, and for us reading books and picking it up is simple, easy. But for older generations that barely know how to read and like don't have really much education, they have to struggle through the education part of it, because there is textbooks that you have to read and exams you have to take to get the certifications. But with the actual physical work, there's really, for like our generation, is a hard part because we're not used to working like out in the heat. We're used to being in school, you know, and learning.
Stuck on screens all day.
Yeah, basically, and that was a hard part for me because I grew up like more like, dude, I would like skip high school to go to work, like go do a job that was like $200, and I come back. Like sometimes I'll come back in the same, like I wouldn't shower that night and come back like with my work clothes and everything. But I was always used to like working out in the heat and everything, and like coming out of college, because I took 2 years of college, and I was like my plan was to go for like business management and finances. So I got a good, like I started reading books about business management, finances, And I was like, what the heck is this? Like basic common sense stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, like just
go do it, bro.
yeah, like go do it. I was like, and like to me, like as soon as I read that and learned that, I was like, I could
nah.
do this in plumbing. Like,
Yeah.
You know, like I try to apply it to like.
Oh, so you it did kind of help you a little bit.
Yeah, cause like so I was doing that, and whenever I applied a part-time job at a plumbing company, and they hired me not even for plumbing. They hired me to do like the analytical side of it on the finances and stuff like that. So I was in an office in the computer. And I hated it, dude. Like, because I was like always active. So like I wanted to do stuff, and that's why I told my boss, I was like, dude, like you know how to do plumbing, right? She's like, no, you don't. I was like, yeah. Like,
let me show you.
Yeah, like yeah. Well, I didn't show him. Like I told him who my dad was, and he was like, oh yeah, like he's done work for us. So like that's the thing I kind of don't like. That I kind of had to like use my dad as a kind of like a open a door for me. But like you know when you have, you know, but it's another thing when you have relationships that like have value, like and that other people know, like it'll open doors. Like you know, my dad, like they really good work for them. They liked him. They always called him for work. But he worked at other companies, but once they knew like I was there and like he was my dad and he like basically taught me everything that he knows. He was like, they're like, okay, like they put me on the field too, like working plumbing, and they helped me get my license. So whenever I hit the I guess the midpoint of college of like whether you know getting your 2 years and then like actually deciding what you're gonna go for your degree, like I kind of sat down to myself and thought about, I was like, should I leave college and like actually focus on getting my license or just stay here, finish my other 2 years and like get a degree.
And what'd you come up with?
I looked into it, did a lot of research on what I was gonna be making around like on average for like a business management degree and stuff like that. And it wasn't really much. I mean, it was a good income, you know, to if you want to work a 9-to-5 job your whole life. Yeah. But I didn't want to do that, you know. So I was like, no, it's okay. So like I looked at plumbing, like you can get your license and you can start your own company or go like there's more opportunities once you get your like license. You master that trade because now like I have my license and I can go apply at a commercial plumbing company or a residential plumbing company, and I will get paid between $30 to $50 an hour max, I think. Just depending on how much like you know and how much the company wants to like pay you, but on average they'll pay you about between 30 to $40, which could go up to 50, like because I've been at $50 an hour, and I just ended up leaving just because of the same thing. I couldn't like you always for me like I always hit this like I max out with the pay because like I want to make more and I do more, and they always give me raises, and then it gets to a point where they can't give me anymore because they're like, dude, like we can't pay
because
like,
you're working too hard.
Yeah, like I'm already doing jobs that like they would have to hire like 3-4 people to do, you know. So I'll be doing like the labor, I would doing the management, the communication, the office work, and like they would like minimize their expenses for people, so they would pay me a lot for like think about it, like you have a company and you hire 4 people to do different things, you know, but you're only paying this person 30 grand a year to do like just calling assistant, you know, people like scheduling appointments or whatever. You hire another person to do like the actual labor, you pay them another 30 grand, and then you hire somebody else to manage the whole projects and everything. And like whenever you do all that, shoot, they fire all those people and just hire you, and like
and then that puts too much strain on you too, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like whenever like you start doing that, there's a lot of stress. You're working like you're working around 80 hours a week, and you're making good money, but you don't have time to spend it. You don't have time to go out.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it. Yeah. And that's one thing I've learned throughout the years, that if you're going after the money, you're always gonna be chasing it. And it's gonna be rough, dude. Like you're gonna have to like if you're really like desperate to go after the money. And
so what are you chasing now?
Now, I'm chasing, I think, just to enjoy life, to help out people, because I've made not crazy amounts of money. I've made a good amount of money where like that I never thought I would make. Like there's been times where I had 200,000 in my bank account just to spend, dude. Holy! And I'm like, damn. You know, like
I made it.
Yeah, like basically, like and like, but then you see all these billionaires and millionaires. You're like, crap, I need to get there.
Facts.
And that's
what you lay off social media.
I know, like, and that was my mentality. I was like, once I had like, I saw it one time that I was like, crap, like I wanted to like do more, and that's where I kind of like started to pull myself back. I was like, because at that point I already had my girl, I already had my kids and everything, and I was already working a lot. Like I was never home. I was going out of state to do jobs and everything, and it just came to a realization that it's not really worth it if
you're working so hard for what?
Yeah, because that, like, and if you talk to a lot of people, like old people that probably retirement homes or like people that are wealthy, like they'll probably tell you the same thing because they either they don't have family because they're old and rich, or they do have family, but they never got to see him grow up.
That's literally the Indian guy that I was on the podcast with. I told you about him. Literally, you said word for word. Like, he's rich, but he doesn't really have like that much family. And also like he chased money. Yeah. From a certain age to a certain age.
So and it's kind of like, what's the point of life?
And and then he said like chase like success and purpose. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because that's what at the end of the day is like the most important thing.
Yeah, it's about and not so my thing, what I tell especially my wife, because I talk like she's like my best friend, I talk to her with about everything, how I feel and everything. And my thoughts and perspectives, because like if I talk to a lot of people my age, like they're like, what the heck, dude, like that's like, it's controversial, you know. And like they'll be like, oh, you can't say this, you can't say that. I'm like,
I don't talk to anybody.
I can say whatever I want. And but I talk to my wife, tell her like this whole idea of American dream is good, the idea of it is good, but you can easily get carried away with it because there is a lot of opportunity here in the U.S. You know, that's why like Hispanic families that come over here and they work their butts off, because out there in Mexico, like I've experienced like how it is the economy over there. Like there's corruption too on the like government stuff, but like and like you can actually like be a part of it too and like actually benefit from it. But it's just the way it is over there. You know, it's a kind of normal to pay cops off to let you go just whenever they pull you over.
No, I know how it is over there. And it's tragic.
It's kind of like you can work like really hard, and it doesn't matter how hard you work. You don't have the same opportunities.
Yeah, like here, like there's because over there, like you can't start up like if you're like live in a like in a town or like a small like little town pueblo, like you try to start up a business, like cartels or like gangs will come up and be like,
you owe me this percentage, right?
Exactly, like ask you for a quota, like a certain amount of money, like not based off of numbers, just because of how much they want. So whether you're doing good or not, like it's not based off how well you sell, how well your business is doing. It's
you give me this much
or die. They did that to a close family member of mine.
Oh yeah,
you just said.
Yeah, and we've had family members because like all our family, like dude, like our family that's here is huge, but there's more out there in Mexico that we have. Same thing, they have gas stations or whatever, and they've actually closed down their gas stations because of that. Like they've closed down their businesses because of that.
So we're lucky over here, huh?
Yeah, dude, crazy lucky, because
the dream, right?
Dude, like we do have this like American dream that there is a lot of opportunity, and like for example, like I had a guy who was here legally, didn't have any paperwork or anything, working for me, and I knew this whole time, but like he would ask me, he's like, hey dude, like should I like stay and like bring my family over and everything, and like bust my butt to get papers and everything. I was like, yeah, like, you're better off saving money and going back, dude.
Oh yeah,
because I was like, because he saw, like, whenever I was, because at that time, too, I was chasing money. Like, so he saw how much I busted my butt. We'd work up at 4 or 5, be at work at 6, busting our butt. We'd get off, like, around 11 or 12 at night, and be back at the hotel sleeping. We'd just get, like, a few hours of sleep. He was making good money, too. But he didn't really care because he didn't have to go back to a wife. You know, he didn't have his family there. So he would just talk to them, like, throughout work or whatever. But he saw, like, I didn't spend time with my family. Like the kids were growing up and like I wasn't with them, and like I was like wasting my years of life, you know, youth. And he was like, yeah, I see how you work and everything, doing, you're making good money, but like you're not with your family, you know. I was like, yeah, and I was like that's how it is, dude. If you stay here and like you want to make a good life here, like have a nice house, nice cars, this is what you gotta do. Like how I'm doing right now is what you gotta do. This is how your lifestyle is gonna be if you come over here and try to live this American dream, you know. And like he was like, yeah, that's true, like, and that's what I told him. I was like, you're better off just because between like he was working for me like about 8 months, and in that amount of time that I paid him and worked for me, he was able to like completely build a house over there. So he had enough money to buy land, buy the house, like do the whole construction, and like give a better house to his family, which was
crazy.
Yeah, which is like amazing. I feel good about it, you know, because I gave him that opportunity, and at the time then he was just trying to save up a little bit of money and get a better car just to drive it out there, and not even like a new car, like like a 2005 car,
Facebook Marketplace.
Basically, yeah. And I was telling him, I was like, dude, you're better off doing that, saving a little bit of money, and taking it back. Because if you live here, aside from you busting your butt, you have to figure out taxes. And if you don't figure them out, like, you're gonna be paying a lot. You're gonna get screwed over a lot by the government.
And if you don't know, like, the government will definitely take advantage of your negligence. Like, you need to know.
Yeah. I learned that quick, dude.
And did he speak English?
Who? My coworker?
Yeah.
No, he didn't.
Oh yeah, he would have been.
Yeah.
That would have been pretty bad.
Yeah, cause
him just reading, it just would have been not it.
Yeah, and he was trying to learn English. At the time, I'll teach you here and there, dude. Like, you can ask me questions and stuff, but like sometimes, like for me, like shoot out. Some people say some like smart words. I'll be like, "What the heck, dude? What is that?"
Yeah.
But and because for me, growing up, too, like my first language was Spanish, and like my parents didn't allow us to speak English inside the house.
Yeah.
But later on, they switched it because they wanted to learn English. But like we were always speaking Spanish at the house, and we always would talk English at school. But like me and my sister, one of my younger sisters, she always struggled with English. So for her, it was a hard like obstacle to learn English. For me, I was always a quiet kid, and like it was hard. Like I wouldn't say it was rough to learn English, but it took a while. And like now it's funny because like if I work with like Hispanics that just talk Spanish, I'll talk to them Spanish all day. And then when I go home and try to speak English, like I'll stumble. Like words and everything. I'm like, crap, what the heck? Like,
because your brain's probably been thinking Spanish all day.
What drove you to work so hard and to get to the point to
what motivated you?
Yeah,
a lot of things. I would say my family, and just being like knowing you can make money, dude. Because like I see now people saying like, dude, I can't find a job. I was like, dude. Dude. Like I've been like the longest I've been without a job is like maybe a day max. That's it. Like. Yeah. And days I don't work is because I don't want to work. That's it.
Yeah.
But like what drove me was I think just seeing my parents, because my parents sacrificed a lot. Like my mom wanted to get a career and this and that, go to school when she was able to, but she didn't because like she had to take care of us and races and everything.
Yeah.
And my dad, he's very like simple dude. All he does is work and that's it. And that's all he knows how to do.
Work.
And he's like a Mexican hillbilly dude. Like he'll just like, he was raised in the mountains. He was like basically a vegetarian when he was like a kid because like eating meat was a luxury.
Wow.
Yeah, like they would eat meat like every 2 months, like and a little bit of it because it was so expensive. And I think what drove me the most was knowing those sacrifices my parents did.
Yeah.
Like like for me it'd be kind of like
disrespectful,
disappointing to like be a bum.
It'd be like it would be like you taking advantage or like it like. You need to make sure that their commitment is like poured into you and it was worth something.
So there's nothing. You had to do it. It's just you had to.
Yeah. And it was for my parents and everything. And now thankfully I help them out a lot and everything.
That was good.
So my dad, he's a type that I feel like Mexican parents, like dads, they're very prideful and they don't like taking money from like their kid, like their sons. So that's one thing I learned, that I don't like give him money because he feels like it's a handout or something. And, so I'll buy him stuff. We'll buy him like rifles or buy him like guns.
That sounds fun.
Clothes, shoes,
How do you balance when you first started dating? When you first started dating her, when you found her on Tinder, were you like you owning your own business or no? You were at a job.
No, I was working, but
how old were you?
I was 20. I was barely 20. Yeah.
And what were you doing?
I was doing plumbing. I was working at I was still in college, I think. Yeah. I think I had.
And when did you start the business?
Start the business about
a year later.
Yeah, started kind of like a business type thing system going, but whenever now like the actual like business like where I'm like, oh yeah, this is my business, this is my company, like was probably like a few months ago. Like
and how did you balance all that out with your wife and your kids?
Like.
I can't even handle one girlfriend in a business, so it's like
it's rough with relationships, and especially when you get married and have kids. I would say there has to be like first values. You have to be on the same page about to work with what you got, because like there has to be like a standard, like like with the political system, like about justice, like like well, nowadays it's kind of rough, but like by common sense, you know what's wrong and what's right. You know, killing is wrong, robbing is right. You know, saving people is good. So if you do this, it's bad. You know, if you do that, it's good. So with her and me, her and I, we had to get on the same page with like
what was going on in society today. Yeah,
moral values. Yeah. So we're like, okay, what do you think about this, this, and that, and what do you think about this or that? You know, like, I would be like, what's your perspective on the kids? Should they be raised by nannies? Should your parents raise them, or should you stay at home and raise them?
Y'all were in sync with some of the
answers. So once we got that strained out, everything kind of fell into place because then we didn't argue about, oh, you work all the time, because like she knew I had to, so I could pay the bills and everything. And like, if she wanted something, like she knew, like I'll take care of her, you know. But it wasn't easy. It was rough, dude. Like because like even though we had our moral values strained out the best we could, there was still like, especially with women, like they're very like emotional. So like they're like, oh, I want you here at home and spend time with us, and like, you know, you're always working. I was like, dude, like you gotta understand, like like I don't have an issue staying home, being with y'all more, because I enjoy it, but like
she respects you though, and she respects that you have to work, right?
Yeah. And at first I kind of let her lead for a little bit. I would tell her, look, if you want me to leave my job, I'll leave it right now, you know. And there was times where I did leave my job. I'm sorry, like, oh yeah, I'm done. But it wasn't like she was like making me. She was just like, well, yeah, I wanted you to stay home more. I was like, okay, I'll call the job. I quit on the spot, you know. And I wouldn't even give him 2 weeks like notice. And then I would have worked like a 9 to 5 job where like I'd just come home and be there like at 5, 6 at the latest. Yeah. But then she'd be like, what the heck, we don't have any money. I was like, I know. She'd be like, how are you gonna pay the bills? Well, I don't know, you tell me. You're the one that told me to quit my job. And that's how it went. Like that's how we learned.
But why'd you quit your job? You just listened to her?
Well, yeah, like that's what I'm telling you. Like I let her lead so she can get like understand how.
But how are you so smart to let her do that? To let her lead?
Because words only do so much. You have to kind of show them, right?
Yeah, because like words do only make so much, and like even though I was saying, look, if I stay here, like kind of explain to her how it's gonna go.
But you weren't scared to leave your job?
Oh no, like because like knowing, like that's the thing I always recommend, like learning a trade or a skill.
Oh, okay.
Like you're not worried about it because you can.
You like, have it already.
You have it already, so you don't have to go to school. You don't have to worry about like learning it. If you learn the skill and master it, then you can hit somebody up and be like, hey, you need some plumbing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and they're like, hey, is your toilet clogged? You know. Yeah. And so I wasn't, because like by then I already had my license, and I could just go to a company and get a job, you know, right away. And also like she was pretty good on saving money, so she would save money for like a few like months in advance just in case like I was laid off or whatever. So like I let her lead just because for her to like get the experience, because I told her I was like I don't have an issue with you making decisions on my job, like being part of it, like, but the only like reason like I don't want you to is because I know for a fact that when things get hard, you're not gonna want to deal with it. Like I'm gonna be the one dealing with all the like consequences of whatever decisions you made, you know. So if you tell me, hey, like I want you to work a 9 to 5 job or like work less, that's fine, like I'll do it. But my issue is that when we don't have enough money, you're gonna come to me and tell me, hey, we don't have enough money. And like,
how did you know that? You just knew that she was gonna do that, or how did you know?
Well, like, yeah, I knew because like
it happened before or something. Or
well, no, because she was very like, I think that's just like how like
she didn't understand certain aspects because she wasn't in the shoes that you were in, right?
Yeah, like I kind of knew because like with like personal experiences, like with women, like they're very like they don't take a lot of accountability. Like, you know, it's unfortunately, I mean, and again, it comes back to them wanting being secure and safe, which I understand and I don't blame them for. But if you're gonna be like that, then there's things that we gotta do differently, you know. So if you're not gonna be accountable for any decision you make, then I have to be accountable. And if I'm gonna be accountable, then I'm gonna be making the decisions, you know. Because and it only doesn't apply to like my job, like, you know, whatever vehicle like I want to get. Because for her, she was like, just buy a brand new truck, like, you know, like I was like, dude, like,
it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, like brand new trucks are like $100K right now, dude. Like diesel trucks and everything. I was like, that's $100K I'm gonna not throw away, but spend, dude. And like, I was like, I don't know, I don't want to. And she's like, oh, it's like less, because for me, like I like getting beat up trucks because, dude, like you get it, you can work on them. If you hit something, you don't care, you just keep on driving. You know, like it's already beat up. So whenever she told me to get a truck, I was like, I don't know, but I was like, okay, but like if I get it and if I struggle with the payments, you can help me out. She's like, oh, I don't know. Like that's the thing. I was like, that's the thing, you know, like you're not gonna be accountable, like held accountable, like when things get rough, and that's what I was telling you. So, like I now tell her like, look, if you're gonna like tell me to do something, like when it gets rough, we're both gonna be dealing with the consequences, like you know. And it's not so much like, oh, shut up or like don't tell me what to do, but it's I remind her, I'm like, that's fine, like I'll do that if you want me to, or get this or that, but don't be complaining later, you know, because we're gonna be in it together like later. You know?
All right, guys. Well, this is gonna do it. This is episode 11 of World Society. I appreciate you guys for watching, and peace.
Peace.